Hey guys, how are you this fine week? Oop, I'm bumping things all over the place here. I am Christina Heideck and I'm the founder of PTO Answers, and it is my mission to make you a more confident and more stress-free leader of your PTO. I'm excited today to talk about something that's near and dear to my heart, and I have just a few opinions about it, and that is why the heck volunteers are running screaming from your PTO, never to be seen again. So there are some really good reasons for that, and we shall get into it. Hey, Karen, how you doing? Glad to see you. Let's see, and I wanted to actually, Karen, can you do me? No, you know what? I'll just do it myself. I wish we could automate this, which you can, but I think there's software out there to automate to do this. So anyway, I want to share it into the Superstar Leaders group. If you are not a part of that group, I gotta tell you, you're totally missing out. Karen can so attest to that. Hey, Jen, what's going on? If you are not part of the PTA PTO Superstars Leader group, then you are totally missing out on the game, because there are something like, oh my goodness, it is so crazy. I think 4,500 members. What? That is insane. 4,500 leaders just like you who need advice and want to get support and have, I think the best part is fantastic ideas. Like, we are not sharing links in that group. No, my friend. It is like real advice. It is real support. So if you're not a member, I'll drop a link in a little bit. And I am having trouble multitasking today, which you all know that I'm not very good at, so sorry. But yeah, go join that group. It's PTA PTO Superstar Leaders group. And yeah, you should get in there if you're not a member yet. So, oh, Karen, thanks for the shout out about it. And Karen's been a member from almost kind of the beginning. Am I right? And Jen, you found me early on too. So I think you guys have been like members for a really long time. So yeah, okay, so let's get going. You can see I'm a little red. It is very, very, very hot in the Cleveland area today. It is very hot. Oh, Jen, you're so sweet for coming. You're busy too, so thanks for coming. Yeah, it is hot, so I'm gonna just get on this, and then we're just gonna get on with our day. But I put up a poll in the Superstar Leader group last week because I had a couple different ideas for a few lives, and I thought, well, let's throw them out there. And I really want to talk about what people like actually want to hear, like actually what will help them run their groups. And the top vote getter was, for me to talk about like why volunteers, and why parents are running away from your group. And so we're going to get into that right now. So the first reason why parents are running away from your group is that y'all are a hot mess. You don't know what's happening. You don't know when it's happening. You don't know who's doing it. Y'all are a hot mess. You're disorganized. So I'm a really busy person, and I've not had this experience with PTAs because generally I'm the one in charge or one of the people in charge. But when I go to a new organization that I'm interested in and I can tell that it's not well run, I kind of do a turn on my heel and walk the other way, and will say to people, well, that was really disappointing because I was interested in the topic. I was interested in supporting that organization, but not if it's going to be a giant circus all the time, because I don't have time for that. I just don't have the patience for that. Not that everything needs to be like perfectly organized all the time, but if you can just tell, I know that you guys have been to groups and you're like, oh, sweet Jesus, like this is just going to be a nightmare. No, right? So if your group is like that, then that is one reason that people are like fleeing the scene as fast as possible. Okay, the second reason, and this kind of ties into the first reason a little bit, is that your group has really bad communication. Like maybe the requests for volunteers are coming out super late in the game, and where you're saying, like, this actually happened in one of my PTOs, not when I was in charge. I will add that caveat, but I discovered, somebody told me about this and I went, what? Yeah, so someone who was a little hesitant to get involved this year, and she said, but I'm going to take on the fundraising role because I like you and I want to do this for you, for the school, but mainly because you're in charge and I know that you're not going to screw it up. And I was like, well, sweet. But her experience had been that she'd been contacted at 5 o'clock or 5:30. Hey, can you stop by the grocery store and get something for the bake sale that starts in 15 minutes? And she was like, no. She already had plans. Like if you were working on a just-in-time strategy with your volunteers, then that is going to cause you to fail big time. So you need to be planning well in advance. You need to know what is going on for the year, when it's happening, making sure that it's not conflicting with other events in your school, in your district, in your city. I know I mentioned the city part because I live in the suburbs of Cleveland. So like if they're, for instance, if the Cavs are in the championship game, that is a bad night to have a PTA meeting because people are just not going to show up, right? So you need to know what you're doing, when you're doing it, and then you can get the who figured out when you have enough lead time to be filling in those spaces. If you're trying to do everything last minute, people, they don't have time for that. They're busy with other things. So you need to be accommodating with their schedules, and you need to respect their time by giving them time to do it when they have the time, and not a hurry up and let's get it. It's got to get done right now, because that is just stressful and doesn't make anybody feel good, right? So then the last reason that came to mind, and this one might be a little controversial, so I'm just going to warn you. A lot of the PTOs have too much going on. Like they're just focused, they're doing way too much, in my opinion, where they're hyper focused on the minutia and not the larger goals. So not the larger goals of the organization. And that is why I always try to encourage you guys to do some larger goal setting. And then you plan everything based on those goals, right? So, and what I mean by this is like there are just, well, I guess groups are just trying to do too much, and it's like, oh, for fundraising, we can do grants and we can do restaurant nights and we can do a bake sale and we can sell pies and we can do a spring candy fundraiser and they're focused on like all of these little activities that consume a lot of time but don't produce a lot of money. And when people see that you are stressed out, and by you, I mean you as a PTA or PTO leader, that you are stressed out, that you are at the school all the time. And maybe you're not even there all the time, but maybe you're there like every day for a couple hours or 3 times a week for an hour or so. Like that is more than the average person can handle. So, and I'm not saying not to do it. Well, maybe not be there every day for sure. I don't think you need to be in the school building every day. If the school cannot function without you, that's also something you're doing wrong as a PTO. Like you're supposed to be an extension of, not a like direct part of your school. Okay. So, but when there's always something to be doing and always some help that you need for your PTO, that drives people away because like the requests are never ending, and volunteers really do feel like they're going to get sucked into the black hole and never get out. The other thing is they could feel really inadequate and might just be like, I can't do the superwoman thing, so I'm not even going to try. Even though they can, but it's really been built up to seem like they can't. And this last part is so key for like when you're getting new officers, but like the officer transition period kind of starts at the beginning of the school year, because you're modeling what it looks like to have a successful PTO. And if you're modeling that it's crazy and that there's event every single day and that PTO is equivalent to your life, then you're going to drive people away. So I really think that you need to dial it back a little bit, step back, look at those larger goals, and look at how the individual activities and fundraisers that you're putting on play into those larger goals. And especially if you're having trouble getting volunteers. Like there's a reason why you can't get volunteers, and it's probably one of the three I just mentioned, and then one I just thought, the last one, because it's always a thing, is that that's the stereotype in the mean girls thing. So it could be, you know, that you're disorganized, that you have really poor communication, you're doing too stinking much, or you got a couple, you know, mean girls, catty girls, and it's gossipy and people just don't want to deal with that. But that kind of goes back into the disorganization thing. So there's like 4 reasons why people might be are running screaming as fast as they can away from your group. So like I said, if you're having trouble getting and retaining volunteers, really take an honest look at your group and identify where you can make improvements, because the name of the game in the PTO land is not to hit it out of the park every single time, but it's the model I use is just continuous improvement. They are always looking for ways to optimize and do better than you did last week, last month, last year, that you're just trying to build upon that, because this is what it's all about. Okay, so, and I do have to pitch one of my products to you right now. It's going to be really light. It's not going to be that much at all, but the President's Planner really makes that goal setting possible. It gives higher level planning sheets to help you get everything figured out. And it also makes the year over year and month over month improvement impossible, because there are specific trackers in that planner that really help you to identify everything that you're doing and capture that information. And then you have it to reference the next time you plan that same event. So if you're planning Carnival, for example, you're going to be able to track all of the essential information, and the tracker lists like everything that you need to be, like there's actually spaces for you to fill in for each of these things that are going to be key for you to make improvements from or improvements on year over year. So I highly suggest you get that if your group doesn't have it. And the really nifty thing is it can be used year over year. So it's, you know, a done for you resource. That's really awesome. And it's near and dear to my heart because I created it, but I also use it, right? And I am going to be making copies of it and giving it to the other officers in my PTO, because I recognize that this is one thing my PTA is actually personally struggling with. One, because the previous president kind of sort of lost the president's binder. So I was given a big fat goose egg for resources other than what we had digitally, which we do have a fair amount there, but I am still a paper girl. So that was like a little disruptive to me. But also there are resources, even though it's called the President's Planner, there are resources in it for pretty much every single role in your PTO. So don't be, if you get the planner, don't feel like you need to keep it with yourself. Totally, it's meant to share with the other people in your group. So I encourage you to do that. So, all right, guys, I am gonna hop off here because I have to go get my hair done. It's very casual today. Could not get into the salon before this live video. So unfortunately, you don't get to see my awesome hair when my dude does it. But I hope this has been really informative, and I will be back with you soon on another topic. I should say, for housekeeping purposes, there's not going to be a live stream next week. I'm actually going to be on a trip. But then the following week, I think it's the 21st. No, can't be the 21st. In 2 weeks. I'm bad with dates. In 2 weeks, in 2 Wednesdays. So no live stream next Wednesday. But then the following week, there will be an Ask Anything live. So that was really popular last time. So start thinking of your questions now, and I will catch up with you in 2 weeks and see you then to answer all those fabulous questions. I'm going to drop all the links to the resources I mentioned in the description of the video, so you should be able to catch it and just as soon as I type it in there. So hope this was helpful, and I will see you guys soon. All right, bye-bye.